Howdy, all. This is Kyle Whittington, and I am coming to you from our brand new studio in Steubenville, Ohio. Today's date is August 14th, 2025, and we are just a couple of weeks removed from the Catholic Creator Conference, and it was a massive success. So, because I'm pretty terrible at editing and everything that goes along with that, I figured I'd just come on here, turn on the camera, and go from there. One thing that you're going to see here that hasn't really ever been seen on this channel before is my phone. So I'm actually talking to you from like a brand new camera. So basically up until this point, my channel has basically been filmed entirely on my iPhone. And it's just been, So anyway, I see that Catholicism is here. So howdy, Brian. And anyway, if you guys have questions, feel free to put them in the chat. It's probably going to be a pretty chill stream. So yeah. So a couple of updates on what's going on. I quit my job because just a lot of things were going on and I needed to actually just be able to focus on just focus on the efforts surrounding the Creator Conference and then the subsequent trip to Rome for the Jubilee of Digital Missionaries. So that's a kind of a major change. So if you guys could pray for me, that's something we're still figuring out. But quit my job, and yeah. So anyway, one of the questions that was posed to me as we were leading up to it was. Who's the person that you're most looking forward to having come in here? And I was just like, probably Drew, honestly, because Drew's always a good time. You guys have seen us interact together. Oh man, thanks, dude. Get a drink for yourself and your lovely wife to share. Thanks, Mike. Appreciate that. Thanks for the super chat. Oh, by the way, I switched to OBS, so I no longer know how to put these things on the screen because I had to cut back expenses. So I'm doing the free stream setup. So let me know how this camera looks great, and I love the dungeon walls. Good for you. Thanks, Tyler. This is actually like my office now. So this is where I spend most of my waking hours. Anyway, yeah. So. Rob Pretzel. Wow, you look good in that studio. No, you do, baby. Anyway, so yeah. All right. So I should probably tell the story and quit paying attention so much to the chat, but feel free to keep lighting it up, guys. Yeah, so it came in. I am a chronic procrastinator, and things that should have been handled months in advance were getting handled hours before we were starting and whatnot. So that was fun. Say a prayer for Drew. I think he's going to need therapy from all of that. So yeah. One phrase that I think he might still hear in his nightmares is me just going, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. Because every time he'd come up and say like, hey, we've got this issue. And it's like, don't worry about it. It'll be fine. So, yeah. So, Tony, which I assume that's how you pronounce that, I'm here to experience conference FOMO. Well, don't worry about experiencing it too much because this is an annual thing. We are planning on doing the Catholic Creator Conference in 2026. So we don't have a requirement for like, oh, you have to have so many subscribers. Nope, that's not what we're doing. We've got some other requirements. Anyway, chat, you're derailing me, which is wonderful, and I'm really glad you're doing it. So keep trying to derail me. Anyway, we got everything. From our perspective, things were really chaotic, and we were getting everything, but we'd step out from the chaos, and we would just see everybody having a great time, despite there not being such a, the optimal circumstances. So, the first night was a third floor Leonardo's Coffee House here in Steubenville, and the air conditioner wasn't great. It's also late July, so it was very sweaty, but it was a great time. And we got to watch people connect. It was so interesting for me just watching worlds collide because one of the my favorite guys that showed up. His name is Andrew, and not Drew, as in Drew the Catholic, but his name's Andrew. I don't know if he wants me to share his last name. He runs the channel Catholic Andrews. What's wild about him is the fact that he and I used to work together. Like pre-2020, whenever I moved to St. Louis, I worked at DISA, which is, for those of you in the military would know that that's like basically the military's internet service provider. Worked in the network operations center there. And he and I were just coworkers. And, he was showing me like some of the stuff that he was doing with his meme page. Some of you guys might remember, if you were like chronically on Facebook, the Liberty Memes C-137, kind of like a Rick and Morty themed kind of thing. It was, he ran that page. And, I just remember he was a fun coworker. I gave him a ride home a couple times, whatever. Anyway, a couple months back, he comments on my Facebook post with Keith Nestor, my interview with Keith Nestor. He's like, "Whoa, that is you." And I'm just sitting there thinking, bro, what were you doing watching Keith Nestor? Like, did that just like randomly come up? And we kind of DM'd back and forth a little bit. And he was just like, "No, I'm becoming Catholic." And I'm just like, bro, that's sick. Dude, do you want to like come to the creator conference? And he was like, "Yeah, I do." And he bought a ticket and showed up and he crashed at my house. So that was one fun thing. We kind of had the same thing last year. This year was to like an even bigger extent. We kind of had a little bit of a refugee camp situation going on in my house. And it's kind of been funny because I've been watching some content crank out from the creator conference, and a lot of it's like been filmed in my house, and I'm just sitting there thinking like, what is going on here? So, yeah. Luke Piazza from had so much fun. All the effort you and Drew put into it really paid off. Thanks, Luke. Dude, it was so good having you there. It was a lot of fun having you there. So, hopefully you get to bring Sophia next time. Kyle sold his studio space to buy a better camera. Yeah, no, this camera actually arrived just today. We found it on eBay, and so we're gonna be having we're in the midst of setting up like a 3-camera studio, and if you guys are in Steubenville and you want to record something, that's going to be a service that we're going to offer with the business that we've established. So, yes, you might say you were a sanctuary house. I suppose so. If that's a reference, I'm not catching it. Yeah. Oh, what camera is it? It's a Canon EOS something or other. I don't know. I would ask Drew, because he could tell you everything about the camera and probably even the name of the person that built it. But anyway, yeah. So day one, massive success because it was just a really good time. We had a panel discussion that we intended to live stream to Shameless Popery, but we didn't quite have the technical capabilities to do there. But it was a good time. So next day, oh yeah, the cleanup and everything like that was kind of crazy too. Cause like after that, there was kind of like an after party at Chesterton's. And then, after all the cleanup and everything, I really appreciate all the volunteers that like stayed behind to help clean up. And it was a really, really good time. So then who else? What else happened? Oh yeah. Okay. So next day, it was great because we had mass by Father Michael Sweeney, who's from the Lay Mission Institute, LMI. I think that's the name of their apostolate, Lay Missions. But yeah, so they were, and Father Michael Sweeney was such just a really good priest. I really appreciated his homilies and everything. So yeah, he really appreciate all that he did for coming out all the way to Steubenville, celebrating the Mass for us, offering confessions, and yeah, it was just a really good time. Oh, hey Desiree, Kyle, yes, with the $1.99 super chat, appreciate that, Desiree. I'd throw it up on the screen, but I don't know how to do that from OBS, so yeah. Anyway. Day one, we had actually Master Samwise, who's here in the chat right now, give a talk about why stories still matter. And this was the first time I'd ever seen somebody use a PowerPoint with like a QR code to like vote. So we got to see like live results of stuff. And While I couldn't have sat through his whole talk, he did. I heard a lot of feedback, and everybody's like, "Wow, that was really good." And then later on, I was like, "Okay, cool, Sam. So, how much do you, do public speaking and whatever?" And he's like, "Oh, I think I did it like once back in high school or something like that." And it was just like, "Bro, I didn't know that whenever we, kind of picked you out for this." But no, I definitely really appreciate Sam coming out for that. Yeah. Need a plug-in for OBS. Yeah, probably. So Sam did that, and then we had a lighting workshop from Keith Nestor, which that was also really good. And then also, actually, never mind, for $20. Thanks, Desiree. So John Blevins gave a keynote talk. I did actually get to go to that one, and one of the things that really kind of stuck with me from that one was that it really doesn't matter how big you get, you're irrelevant. The only thing that you can claim is your sin. And I definitely kind of felt that throughout this whole thing, because from the very beginning, if you guys know me, like, I've kind of failed at like kind of almost everything that I've done. Sort of, like I was a smart kid in high school, didn't do too well because I was lazy. Went to Franciscan, that didn't work out, dropped out, did the Air Force, did 6 years of that, active duty, didn't really like it, decided to do something else, went to the Guard for 4 years, did kind of a tech career, which I just quit last month. And, I guess, I don't know how you want to measure that success, but I mean, the family's been good throughout all of that, so I guess you could say that's successful. But one thing that, I'm not highly educated, I'm not highly trained or anything like that. Desiree will not beat me for number one in the chat. Well, number one donator gets a hug from me next time they see me. Although you guys donating, you were going to get one of those anyway. But so where was I? I'm trying to keep up with the chat and kind of tell the story at the same time. Oh my goodness. Where was I? My goodness. Oh, hey Haley. Oh yeah. I'm not that great, but from the very beginning on all this, like, the Holy Spirit has clearly been working and moving with this. And honestly, like, I just, to God goes all the glory and to the credit, because if this was merely my own efforts and Drew's efforts and all of y'all's efforts that actually came and pitched in and everything, this would not have been a success at all. It would have failed miserably. And that includes like things that were like totally outside of our control that I can't really go into publicly. So yeah. No, it's one of those things of like, if you could only do one, pray for us or financially give, I would choose the prayer, because that's honestly the secret sauce to all of this. So pray for us as we move forward. Specifically, pray for our protection. I don't want to get into the recent scandals and whatnot, but in the creator space, like, there's a lot of temptations here, and that's going to be the stuff that could kill your mission faster than anything else. And it doesn't matter how much money you get. In fact, like, getting more money increases those temptations. So yeah. Anyway, excited for this national conference to keep growing. Yeah, me too, Rob. So 2026. I tell you what, I'm going to keep kind of telling the story, but while I'm telling the story, y'all kind of ask some questions about the next conference, and I might leak some details and tell you what's going on. I don't know. If Drew's watching this right now, he's pulling his hair out. And honestly, the people who aren't interested in this would not have made it this far into the stream anyway. So we'll see. So yeah, Keith Nestor's talk was absolutely phenomenal. He did he kind of talked about how to gain the world without losing your soul. basically, when he and I were talking about this, it's like, well, the reason why I want to discuss this is because we, as creators, we need to be able to produce content at a high level, but not just for the sake of views. It's you know, to make a channel work, I suppose you need resources and metrics and whatnot. And whenever I like to think of these things of three different ingredients, if you will, you've got souls, subscribers, and money. Which of those numbers are the most important? Well, obviously it's the souls. And even then, quantity isn't that terribly important. But obviously the more you reach, the better. Oh man, Desiree's back in front. That's a bold challenge night. Okay. So thanks. I really appreciate this, guys. So let's see here. Where was I at? I saw the blue flash on the screen. Yeah, I've just got my phone right here with the chat going. Oh my gosh. And Mike donated again with another $5. So really appreciate that. Okay, so the three ingredients. You've got souls, subscribers, and money. Which of those are most important? Well, souls. How many souls are you reaching? How many, what's your impact on that? That is by far the most important thing. But that doesn't mean that subscribers and money aren't important either. They're not number one, and the trouble that you get is whenever you put either one of those things into the number one spot. So, yeah. So anyway, that's kind of what I wanted to... We kind of had this talk of like, okay, how do you balance these three things? And one of the big standouts from his talk was... Whenever you're creating, you need to create from the overflow. Your spiritual life can't just exist on the camera. It has to be what comes out on the camera is an overflowing from your interior life. And I could tell you from personal experience that hasn't always been the case for me, and I can tell you that it will empty you out and it'll create problems. So I actually asked Keith, it's like, Keith, please turn that into a video and publish that on your channel. Don't know what he's going to do, but I hope he chooses to, because that's a message that a lot of creators need to hear. So, yeah. But anyway, then we had a great dinner at the Harp and Habit, which was burgers. Oh, one of the coolest stories of this whole thing is like the Christian Wagner and Amber Rose Religious Hippie meetup. I don't know if I would call them friends, but like it seems like there's some mutual respect there now. And holy smokes, this is, and honestly, like those kinds of interactions are the entire reason why we do this in the first place. When you're interacting with these people online, it's so easy just to turn them into an idea or something inhuman. And that's something that is just, I don't know, it's just a big danger here. And when you actually encounter somebody in just a real and incarnational sense, it's different. It's easier to recognize the humanity whenever you're confronted in it in a way that you have to be almost monstrous to ignore. And that's kind of where our tagline comes from, to, get within strangling distance, is because this actually started long before I was a creator. This is actually a phrase that I used in the Air Force all the time, because it was in regards to customer service. If you've ever had problems with your bank, it was always better to get in your car, drive down to the local branch, and talk to somebody face to face when you're within strangling distance, because that person can't just ignore you. Now, over the phone, they can blow you off. There's whatever. They're going to make you angry, but what are you going to do to them? You always get better customer service in person. So same thing comes with Desiree with another $5. So thank you, man. This is how you become a conference speaker, right? I pay you. I could be convinced. Anyway, So it was a really cool it was a really cool experience. I honestly, something like that with like the Christian Wagner and religious hippie thing was something that I didn't really expect to happen this soon in our mission. And it's kind of made me think like, okay, well, what's next? So there's a lot of prayer and consideration. I've already reached out to one person who's kind of tentatively agreed to speak. I'm gonna keep that on the down low until we can actually like announce it, and we will go. We'll go from there. So, all right, let me see if I can find some questions here in regards to 2026. What details about 2026 are ready to be leaked? Technically, none of them. That's why they're leaks. Actual real question. Will 2026 be in Steubenville? Maybe. We are exploring other options. One thing with Steubenville is that it's not very walkable, and there's only 2 hotels in town. We've got Airbnbs, but we're looking into some options to maybe keep it in Steubenville because Steubenville's a good time. That's why I moved here. But we are exploring other options. We're looking at some other options, and I don't know if I want to get you guys excited by those other options that we're looking at. So, is it true that next year's conference will take place entirely in Kyle's house? If we had to, yes, but I don't think we're going to have to. Look at your fancy crowns. Chris, they just get that because of chatting. Let's just say Kyle didn't bring me in because of my talent. It was because of the bald head. So, yeah. Yeah, stay tuned. If you guys, I've got the join link for the Discord. Actually, I'm looking in here and I'm seeing like everybody in the chat's already in the Discord. But as we get more updates, we're gonna push them out through the Discord first because it's just easier to type a Discord message than it is to come up with like an email and make sure it's got good graphic design and whatever. It's easy just to be like, hey, nerds, we're doing this, and yeah, we'll do that. So, yes, my house is pretty awesome. Do you guys want to hear about Rome and the trip that we went on after the Creator Conference ended? Because that was also a pretty wild trip. So maybe next year we can get Taylor Marshall and Tim Gordon to reconcile. That would be awesome. That would be beautiful. Those two were quite the Sons of Thunder when they were working together. So, yeah. Okay, so Rome. There's a delay here, so I'm sorry about that, guys. So I was just trying to ramble on a little bit. But, all right, so Sunday, after the final mass, we kind of went home, had breakfast, and then headed to the airport. And this is where all the chaos starts. So it was me, Dom Dalmaso, Drew, Katie Ruvi, Mike Elias of High Gothic Casual, his wife, and Evan Rogest. And we get to Pittsburgh, and we're going to go to Rome. And then delayed flights start happening. Oh, no, because we were planning on getting to Rome like Monday morning. And then we get there, we get to the airport, and our flight gets delayed to the point where we're going to miss our connecting flight in New Jersey. Okay, dang. All right. Well, we're going to have to get rerouted. Okay, there's a flight here that's going to get us to Dulles, to D.C., and then we'll just have to do that one. That one's not going to get us there in the morning. It's going to get us there in the afternoon. There's a little bit of a disappointment there because Katie Ruvi was actually supposed to be speaking on a panel at the event, and with this new itinerary, she wasn't going to make it in time. So that was heartbreaking. So a lot of people in the group decided to, hey, we're going to try to get into different planes and see how we can finagle this. And because the one that we got put on to go to DC kept also getting delayed. And we were like, oh no, what if we don't even make this one either? Which was quite the disappointing thought because we hadn't even made it out of Pittsburgh. So, I want to know how you're not totally dead. I'm still recovering from the conference, and I had a 2-week break before my next event. Oh, yeah. I'm unemployed. That's why, because I was able to actually rest up. So, yeah. So anyway, we go through and nope, leave that alone. So some people are starting to try to change planes, and I'm trying to change planes. And at one point they said, okay, there's 7 of you or however many. Well, there's only like 9 seats on this plane, so we got to like transfer you quick or else it might fill up. So immediately there's started this like little shoving match of like, okay, well, let us through. And, you know, Drew goes first and he gets transferred off, and he's just like, okay, bye guys, I'll see you in Rome. Or I'll see you over the gate, because the plan was to have everybody transferred. Another companion, because they didn't have any bags, were like, hey, we're also gonna get transferred over to the new flight, and then I'm next. And while he's in the middle of it, the flight that we were supposed to get on, to Dulles, says that they're now boarding because the delays, like we're done with the delays, it's now time to just get on the plane. So I look at the guy and I said, cancel it. Don't change me. I want to get on that plane. Basically, everybody except for Mrs. Ruby, who did the transfer thing, didn't actually make it to Rome. So Drew didn't make it, and a couple of other companions didn't make it either. They just decided, you know what, it's too much. There's a lot of stress. Let's just go home. So I was telling Julia, my wife, at that time, that I was like, wow. This went from feeling like a crazy adventure to now it just feels like a deployment. And it's like, because we already lost people on this thing. So, yeah. Oh, yeah, Desiree. Yes, I actually quit my job. I quit my job like 3 weeks before the conference started because I just needed to in order to pull it off. There just wasn't enough time. So, yeah. So we have all that going on, and yeah. So anyway, we make it. We tag up. So Evan managed to get. There was like a 1:30 flight and a 3:30 flight. Evan got on the 1:30. Ours got delayed like 3 hours, but we still made it in time. We were able to tag up with Evan in DC, and then we got on the plane and we got to our room, and then, you know, we got there in time to kind of just get checked in, and we got to go to St. Peter's Basilica for adoration at night. And I don't know, Evan was saying this, I don't know how true this is. This was apparently like the first time that they let like the public in to St. Peter's at night since like in like 400 years. So it was really cool because, you know, we walked in through like the center door up front and it was completely empty, and it was beautiful. Matt Maher was there and he was playing his music, and I'm not going to talk about that because Twitter already hashed it out a few weeks ago. But no, it was really cool. Went to bed and just straight up like slept like a rock. Next morning we get up, we go meet out over by like the Tiber, the Tiber, closer to like Castel Gandolfo at like 8 a.m. And that's whenever they do like the Jubilee pilgrimage, where they give you like the Jubilee cross thing. And then I got to even carry it for a little bit. So you basically march into St. Peter's, or you process into St. Peter's from the Tiber all the way into St. Peter's. And, you know, you go through security and whatnot. And then we pass through one of the sacred portals. What is it? The Mercy Door at St. Peter's, which is like, there's like 3 main doors up front. So I don't know what the one on the left is, but the one on the middle is kind of the one that you normally come into if you're coming in through the square. And then the one on the right is like the Jubilee door, the Mercy Door. So we passed through that door, which was really cool. We figure out how to get through our sorry, Mike, I just saw your message. Not meant to be confrontational. Or how did you discern that the Lord called you to quit your job? That's a story for off camera, so we can sync up on that later. But yeah, so we go through there, And then we wait in this really long line. We go all the way up to the front. We pass by like the main altar with the big baldacchino, and we pause a little bit, like for the staircase to go down to like the tomb of St. Peter, and we pause for a little bit and pray, which was really cool because St. Peter is a big patron for us at Ipsum Audite. That's the company that we run the creator conference from. So that was a really special moment. And then we just go and we sit in this crowd for like 30-45 minutes waiting for another mass to like finish up and clear out. And then so we get in there and we go to mass. It was celebrated by Cardinal Tagle. So many bishops were there. Bishop Barron was there. And the mass was good. It was cool that I've now been to mass at St. Peter's Basilica, up like by the what is it? Is it Bernini's statue of like the chair of Peter, which I didn't realize this actually like contains the relic of the chair of Peter. So that was really, really cool. And they that finishes up, and then all of a sudden, they're not dismissing, mass is ending, and they're not dismissing us, and we see the Swiss Guard come out, and we're like, is this happening? Is this happening? And next thing you know, I see this short little man from Chicago in all white come walking out. And Pope Leo came. Evan actually got to like hand him something, which was really cool. And he's got a whole video on it. So if you wanted to go check out Evan Raugust's channel, he's got something detailing that whole thing. So yeah, the next day, this is Katie Ruvi finally. Yeah, so we got delayed like by half a day. She got delayed by like a day and a half. Later on, we actually get to go into the Vatican Gardens. We actually walk up to the top of the Vatican Hill, which there's like this recreation of the grotto at Lourdes. And, we all consecrated our digital mission work to Mary, which was really cool to do that there. And that's not something that I've done before, but little man, the Pope does not have short man energy. Mea culpa. Okay, sorry. So we go to, we do that. It's a great time. There's like a little influencer festival later on, just like north of the Vatican. It's just street party. So like, it's like, hey, if you're going to do this like rave music and whatever, it's like, yeah, go do it. Go do it somewhere in the streets. All the young kids, they seem to enjoy it. Even like our server at the restaurant that we were sitting at, like he was like dancing along with the music. So it's like, I know some people might get bent out of shape about that, but it's like, it's just in the city of Rome. It's a street party. It's free for the people that are there, free for the people that live there. It was fine. So, yeah. And then after that is kind of whenever like some real fun stuff started. We got to go to so many dinners, and I got to meet so many really cool people. Some of those things I can't really talk about yet, because you'll be hearing more about that soon, I hope. And yeah, but like one cool thing is we got to go to Castel Gandolfo and just like take pictures and just experience the grounds. And I took pictures of my wife in the like this beautiful like garden with this awesome statue of Mary, and I got to see pictures like Pope Leo was just there like a couple of weeks prior, and it was really cool. So got to meet a lot of really cool people. One thing that stuck out to me. So there was an event at St. Paul outside the walls, which is one of like the four major papal basilicas. So you've got St. Peter's, St. John Lateran, St. Paul outside the walls, and St. Mary Major. And this is where like the four holy doors are. So, and I got to go through 3 of 4 of them. We couldn't get inside of St. Mary Major. The line to get in was way too long. So, like St. Paul outside the walls, that is where St. Paul is buried. Like there's a tomb there that is labeled Paul, Apostle, Martyr. And, then Peter is, of course, buried under the main altar in St. Peter's Basilica. And And I'm just sitting there like going, wow. These guys lived, 2,000 years ago, and yet their earthly remains are here, physically here with me in 2025, mere feet away from where I'm standing. And I don't know. It's just, sometimes it's really easy to forget that the faith is real and like these things really happened. And, St. Paul being beheaded and Peter being crucified upside down, those aren't just things that happened in a storybook. Like that actually happened. And, we kind of stood in the spot where St. Peter was crucified upside down, which is funny because it's like in just a parking lot next just to the south of St. Peter's Basilica. But yeah. So it's I don't know. And just we got to do so many cool things in Rome, and just there's so much beauty there. And I think overwhelmed is the right word. I was overwhelmed by the beauty because it seemed like it didn't matter where you go. There was on a Sunday, my wife and I just decided we were going to, just take some time with the two of us. And our phones are charged. I've got the international plan. We can always find our way back. And even if you get lost, just find your way to the Tiber and just walk back upstream, and you'll be able to find where we were staying. Let's just go get lost in Rome. And we just started walking down random streets, and we come to this building where there's some people outside. Most churches were locked because I think like hey, no tourists on Sunday. We just do mass and that's it. But there were some people standing outside of this open church, and we were like, ooh, okay, let's go in there. And it was stunning. It was gorgeous. And I'm looking around, and I'm seeing that the altar is actually like pushed up against the wall. And I got to thinking like, a friend of mine told me that I should check out the FSSP church while I was here, and I kind of blew him off, and I was like, nah, whatever. If we have time, maybe. And then, so I pulled out my phone and looked up. I was like, okay, where am I? And we were in the FSSP chapel. And what was really cool about this, my wife has a degree in sacred music, and her favorite composer is Palestrina. And this was the building where Palestrina like performed his, like a whole bunch of his pieces for the first time. And it was just like, whoa. So I made sure I shared with that, and she was, just kind of blown away. And yeah, it was really cool. And when it was time to come home, we did. And was Rome like Milan? I've never been to Milan, so I could not tell you. Yeah. So that sounds like the decision at the beginning of a horror story. Oh, getting lost in Rome. Yep. Let's go wander around this city we don't live in. Ah, yes. Being 6'2" in Rome is an absolute superpower. I could see the tops of everybody's heads. I was never once afraid walking around because I was like twice the size of everybody around me. I was the scariest person there. And, I had my stuff in pockets that couldn't, whatever. I wasn't worried about being, pickpocketed and whatnot. That was like the real big thing. So, yeah. So if there's any other questions, I'm going to try to go ahead and type any other questions that you have, regarding 2026. I guess I can just kind of freely share some stuff. So we're going to be doing a little bit more in 2026. Specifically, it's probably not premature to announce this, right? Whatever. And if it is, Drew will yell at me later. We're going to be putting on a Catholic Creator Retreat. It will be it's going to be probably for no more than 50 people. It's we don't know where it's going to be yet. But the one thing we are going to say is absolutely no cameras, no content, this is going to be a retreat. I think I'm even going to ask people to check their phones in while we're in the retreat, because this is just going to be for us to connect with each other and more importantly to the Lord. So, because I was noticing both at the Creator Conference and in Rome, there was a temptation to be like, okay, hey, let's go do this content thing, which is fun, but it is work. And it's just like, well, hey, you could also just be in the moment here. So, yeah. Oh, yeah, look. Oh, how funny. He's already revealing secrets and I just got here. Yeah, whatever. I'm tactfully leaking secrets. Anyway, yeah, so there's going to be a Catholic Creator Retreat sometime in 2026. So, sorry, Drew. And oh man, he's furious. He's texting me right now. Ooh, I definitely can't read that one on the on air. Ooh, okay, all right. So yeah, so that's gonna happen. And as far as the 2026 Creator Conference, basically what I will say is that it's going to be bigger and better, which is something that you kind of already expected anyway. Strategically building anticipation. I'm going to steal that phrase. So, yeah. Also that the, what else have I told them? I told them that the next Creator Conference is going to be hosted in your house. I actually, did you guys write down the address, that Drew's home address that I shared earlier? If not, you can just text him at the phone number that I gave you. So anyway, I'd totally let Drew come onto this stream, but I'm on OBS and I don't know how to do that. So, yeah, but anyway, get in the Discord if you guys want updates. We're working on having like an email list built up. If you came this year, if you applied this year, you're kind of already on the email list. If you know any sponsors that'd be interesting, or if you are a sponsor who's interested, shoot me an email. Shoot me or Drew an email. Kyle at ipsumaudite.com or Drew at ipsumaudite.com, and we'd be happy to get back to you. And then just on a personal note, if any of you guys know anybody who would be happy to hire a mover and a shaker like me and or Drew for the right number, mostly just me because I'm unemployed. If anybody's looking for a guy, I mean, I'm a cybersecurity expert, specifically like in networking. I've got a penchant for sales, and I have a tendency to make things happen that previously weren't there. So, yeah, we only eat tobacco in this house. Drew, could you go ahead and post my well, I don't know why I'm doing that whenever I have a chat thing right here, but by the time you hear that, I'm probably already gonna have it here. Yeah, so Kyle at ipsumaudite.com. That's, yeah. So, yeah. Well, that's about it. It was a good time. More things are coming. I wish I could say more. And, yeah. So this is going to be kind of like the new setup from here on out. I plan on doing a lot more in-person interviews. Kind of trying to figure out what, kind of do more. I don't know. What am I supposed to do with this channel? Because it's like, what do you do? It's like, well, I do the Creator Conference. Okay, but what do you do online? It's like, well, I do the Creator Conference. So, yeah. I'd love to, I can't pay you, but I'd love to have a guest on my game show. Well, hey, shoot me an email and, you've got it just, like a couple messages above yours. Yeah, we'll see about, doing that. And yeah, I'd love to. Yeah, if any of you guys want to have me on your channel, like, I've got time. So, although nowadays, because not really employed, most of my time, I'm going to try to be spending evenings with the family. So, I've got a lot of time during the day. So, let me know. But anyway, pray for me, guys, because we're on the start. Pray for me, pray for Drew, pray for Drew's wife, because she has to deal with him, who has to deal with me. So, pray for us. But I think we're at the start of something big. There's a lot of moving parts in the background, and we're at the cutting edge of this. should have mentioned this whenever Pope Leo came and he gave us an address. Just Google Pope Leo address to influencers. And if you guys are a creator, read that like 4 times and go slower each time you read it. It is outstanding. Whenever be careful with your words here, Kyle. I find it very encouraging that we have a pope who both seems to care deeply about the digital mission, and he also seems to get it. This is the first pope in history that had a Twitter account prior to being elected pope. So he has seen a lot of this stuff firsthand. He understands it. And that is something that makes me very, very excited. The digital mission field is a very serious thing. It's starting to become a bigger priority in amongst the bishops. So that's also really cool because like the church is taking this seriously. And some already did, but like it's catching on. So if you are a creator, I would recommend trying to reach out to your local bishop, seeing what you can do to help out. What does that look like? Well, one thing that I would love to see is in each diocese, there's like a monthly meetup. It doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be a big Catholic creator conference sort of deal. Just like meet up at a coffee shop and just meet up with the other creators in the area. If you want to film content on your phone, fine, but like there won't be any studios. Everybody's just going to pay for their own stuff. You just say, hey, we're meeting up at this coffee shop, or we're going to go out for ice cream, or what have you. Or we're going to meet up here and we're all going to have dinner together. Maybe invite your bishop to that, because one big disconnect that we have right now is that none of us seem to know our bishop, which makes sense. Like he's one guy and we're, depending on which diocese or archdiocese you're in, you're, thousands to millions. So, invite your bishop to those things. Let him know that you're on his side and get to know him. And, because whenever the church is all working together, whenever our hands aren't around each other's throats, we can actually use our hands to like build the kingdom of God. So that's, yeah. If you invite me, a studio will show up because it seems to happen that way for some reason. Okay, Drew, I just booked you for a job in Florida. It does not pay, and you have to pay for your own way. Anyway, now I get to have the fun task of figuring out how to end this stream, because normally I just do it from StreamYard, and I think this is going to be far more instant. Oh. Okay. All right. Well, thanks everybody. See you next time. Oh, is it still going? Oh, goodness.